All right. I think we're all good to go. Everyone's here. Welcome back to where I am, everyone, as we continue our next adventure with the... Are we the Gaffs, the Hunts? What the fuck are we? I don't know.
The Gaffers.
The Gaffers.
Gaffers.
That is officially the name. As the Gaffers head north to Thunderblade City at the request of the Von Lycan family. This is your floating head in the sky, Scoot, your DM for this evening.
We should really come up with a standardized order to introduce ourselves. I'm Robert, who's choosing to go first this time. I'm playing Nicholas. I'm playing Nicholas Doxborn.
Alright. I'm Kate. I am playing Neva.
I am Deb. I am playing Tessa.
I'm
Randall.
Will. Damn it! We were so close.
So close! I was waiting. Go for it, Will.
I'm Will. I'm playing Roscoe, who is still not a rogue.
Yet.
Yet.
I'm Randall, and I'm playing Kiki, the Kenku Tinkerer.
Yeah, I think every week I'm going to come up with a new way to, like, order you guys, so it's like an icebreaker, like, by birthdays and stupid shit like that.
There we
Which
go.
we don't know, so we'll still step on each other.
Yeah,
My birthday is in 10 or 12 days.
We see each other in chairs all the time, so do it by height. What?
I can
Deb is
laugh.
actually the shortest, but not by much.
I am small.
Yep.
I am slightly less small, but not much.
Anyway, we're gonna give our tidbits at the beginning of every cast. Last
You
week,
said tidbits? Because I heard titbits.
of course, you would.
Tits.
Anyway.
You've lost
We
control
are
already.
6
Lost
minutes in.
control.
We are 6 minutes into the recording. Not even. We're
It's
probably
farther
like 2
than you
minutes
get
into the recording.
sometimes.
Yeah, it is. I choose to do this. Anyway.
You do.
I do. Last week, the Gaffers faced off against a bunch of Deus frogs, and quite soundly defeated them at a river. Taking out most of them, bringing the head of the biggest bullywug back for proof, before returning to the Knight's Bane Guild Hall and receiving their next assignment, a very lucrative contract to work as security for a very wealthy family in Thunderblade City. We leave off with you folks in the town of Morris Hollow. You were able to rest, kind of get your stuff together, and transportation has been arranged up to Thunderblade City whenever you folks are ready. But before you leave, is there anything you would like to do in Morris Hollow prior to heading out?
Not for me. I don't think I can think of anything.
I believe I promised Kiki a shopping trip.
Okay.
Yes.
We can have that have taken place off screen if you want.
Just give me a rough idea of what you would like to buy.
So, Kiki spends her money only on supplies for her inventions, so she doesn't really have, like, party wear. So she would need guidance from Neva. She'd probably go with a pretty basic dress. She loves shiny, but she doesn't like spending money on things that aren't gizmos and parts for gizmos and metal, things like that. So she'd probably go with a pretty standard kind of party dress, kind of maybe slightly understated, but maybe with shiny buttons. I think that's how she would.
Neva already has nice party clothes, but I figured she was probably the best equipped to help Kiki pick out appropriate party clothes.
Okay. Now Roscoe would actually probably know, since Roscoe is the most familiar with the city itself. Thunderblade City is a massive metropolis compared to the town that you're in. Morris Hollow is fairly large, but Thunderblade City is the equivalent to like a London or a New York. So you can find nice things here, but the height of fashion, of course, will probably be up north.
I'm going to say Kiki is not super worried about high-end fashion, so she just wants, like, to not be embarrassed with what she's wearing, and she's never really hung out in high society. So she'll just go with a basic dress with some shiny buttons, and she'll be perfectly happy. I could also picture her something with a really frilly, roughly kind of collar with just a touch of flair, but otherwise understated.
Okay. Nicholas, do you have clothing? Do you have any needs in Moore's Hollow before you head out?
Do I have clothing? Yes. I'm not walking around naked.
Good.
Damn it.
I do need to sort myself out with some party clothing. I went to a relatively fancy university, so I've got an idea of how to dress. But I'm planning on dealing with that out, excuse me, in Thunderblade City rather than in Moore's Hollow.
Okay. Tessa, Roscoe.
So Tessa's armor is seen better days. I guess it's full of like frog guts, so I think she needs to clean it. But it's also, it's not super ornate, so but she would feel more comfortable wearing armor in the situation. So she does have like a fancy dress with her. Her parents are nobles, so she's been to these kind of parties before. She knows how it goes. But as being a guard here, I think she would want to find something that maybe at least has shoulders and a breastplate, and then maybe something kind of a combination of the two.
Roscoe.
I have fine clothes. I would like to buy a pack of cigarettes and a pack of gum.
You were able to find those things in Moore's Hollow.
Then I'm done.
Neva already has something nice to wear because it's basically it's what would be appropriate for the spring court if she were at the spring court, and it doesn't involve a dress because she needs to be able to fight.
Okay. So you folks are mostly settled. So up north you begin to head. You catch a ride with again some travelers moving around. You actually the Knight's Bane buys you a carriage that is able to take you up there. Now this is not like a fancy Cinderella.
Okay.
It's like a stagecoach basically that is pulled by these very large lumbering lizard creatures. Not quite Gax, but definitely more beast of burden. They're not very fast, but they don't stop. They just kind of keep going. More endurance than a horse. It takes roughly a day and a half, 2 days of pretty consistent traveling, with some stops for you can eat, stretch your legs, stopping at a smaller town along the main road for the evening, before you come up to the main outskirts of the city. The first thing you notice as you crest a hill is, for most of you, seeing it's the first time, how massive the city sprawls across the plains. The city is ringed by two walls, an inner wall, which seems to contain the city itself, a large fortified outer wall, and sandwiched in between the two walls is a maze, a labyrinth in fact. And as you watch, you notice that there are pieces of the walls that are moving. They are sinking down into the earth, and different sections are rising. So this labyrinth seems to be constantly shifting and changing slightly all around the city. Roscoe, having lived here for a lot of your life, you know this is what's called the Labyrinth Wall. Very simple name. And you know that traversing this is potentially quite dangerous unless you have a guide with you. Although guides are usually provided by the city at the 4 main gates that will, allow you to come in if you don't mean any harm to the city.
Gang, we got nothing to hide, right? I think we just head on through.
Yeah, I'm not the hiding type.
Yeah, here's just a quick thing on our way through. Now's not a good time to lie. Now would be a good time to be up front, just for what it's worth.
By the way, Kiki is completely fascinated by these walls, and she's like sketching things in her notebook. She's wondering about the mechanics or the magic behind them. So she's like nodding at you, Roscoe. She's like, and she's just like, she's like muddling to herself and sketching.
Just engrossed.
Yeah, and I'll start to just kind of lead people toward getting to the gate.
Yeah, so you're by the south gate, because that's where you're coming up from. And as you get there, you see there's actually a terminal There appear to be these long outdoor warehouse, this sort of stayover station as you enter what is essentially the city's customs as guards, large minotaurs dressed in decent armor and weapons. You know, it's not gleaming by any means, but these are certainly well made and they are well equipped. They're just going through, seeing what's going on, poking around different parcels. It's basically TSA for the city. They're making sure nothing incredibly dangerous is coming in or out. You know, they're asking people, what's your purpose here? Especially for those that are not citizens of the city, those that don't live there. Eventually, the coach leaves you folks here, as this is all it's been paid to, and it turns around and heads back south. And you are just walking through. There is a line for folks that have goods that are coming into the city, and those there are lines that are for visitors. You do notice that there are two lines, one for residents and one for foreigners, like people that do not live here.
I will head the foreigner line.
Foreigner line, aye.
Tally ho.
Give Roscoe a little wave, I guess.
I don't think I live here anymore. I think I am no longer a resident, so I'm gonna go with everybody else in the foreigner line.
It's that awkward thing where, like, you wave goodbye and then, like, you both turn left at the corner. Still walking side by side.
Yeah. It's like, okay, good to see you too, Nick.
Through the gates, you can see through the main gate. You can see the shifting walls, and there are guides there. But since you folks aren't claiming large parcels of things, the line moves pretty quick. There actually is a warforge that stands at a little pop-up kiosk. They've clearly built it. It's very easy to move. The warforge is quickly writing things. They finish up with the people in front of you, and you roll up. Who's going to be talking to the warforged?
I can.
Okay. It looks at you and goes, "Oh, do you have sir? Do you have papers?"
No.
Okay. What is your purpose in Thunderblade City?
We are here upon request by the Von Lyken family. Contract to follow. We are going to be working at one of their upcoming events.
Okay. And what is your name, sir?
Roscoe Berrickson.
Okay. Are you by yourself or are you with a party?
No, this group is working together under the name the Gaffers.
Oh, wonderful. Gaffers. So are you the leader / speaking individual?
I am the most familiar with local customs, so I'm speaking for us now, but I wouldn't claim any particular leadership role.
Wonderful. May I have your folk and plane of origin?
Sure, I am an Aasimar, and so that means about 50% of me is from here, 50% of me is from the Storm and Moon plains of Saloon.
Got it. And the Warforged, they write that down without really blinking an eye, mostly because they don't have eyes to blink.
The
I
TSA experience.
kind of turn over my shoulder. You don't have to lie, because as long as you're not a real piece of work, they've seen it all. It's like asking a doctor for, weird stories.
Speaking of that, sir, are you carrying any contraband or things that are not allowed? They point to a list of items that are, clearly contraband, like no nunchucks, no bombs, no interplanar demons or angels, that are pact-bound.
Tessa raises her hand. Are swords allowed?
Yeah, you're allowed to have weapons. You're allowed to have weapons, just within a certain degree of magicality.
But why no nunchucks? I mean, I'm sure that's a story.
Oh God, she asked about the nunchucks.
Sorry.
We do apologize. There was an incident about 2 years ago, and they are temporarily banned in the city.
Mm-hmm.
I have
You ever see one of those laws where a city council member makes something that only applies to their one dick neighbor illegal?
Oh yeah.
That's basically the nunchuck rule. That's essentially what we're seeing with the nunchuck rule. There's 3 guys in Thunderblade who hate the nunchuck rule. Nobody else cares. But for those 3 guys, man,
Literally
I'll tell
affects
you.
no one else. Like, doesn't interrupt anything.
Like, no more nunchucks. And almost everybody was like, I didn't have any nunchucks, so this isn't going to be a problem. But 3 guys lost their shit.
The West End Nunchuck Gang. Now they all just look really silly because they just have daggers. They didn't want to get new patches, you know?
No.
So Kiki squirms a little bit at the mention of bombs,
Mm-hmm.
and she raises her hand. She makes a little noise.
It takes the Warforged a second to kind of look over the guys. Oh, and what is your name, my good creature?
Kiki.
Okay.
Says Kiki.
Are you in possession of explosives?
Yes.
Do you have a permit for those explosives?
A local permit? I don't know what she would know about. Certainly not a local one, but she's like a registered tinkerer. I don't know. Like she's
Yeah, like, you know,
it's
are
like-
you are you a tinkerer, and like how much? What is the quantity that you have?
Oh, she pulls out 2 pre-made ones.
Yeah, they're like the bombs.
She goes, personal defense. She's
The
open.
Yeah,
Warforged. The Warforged.
An ounce of black powder is decriminalized.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So in the Warforged goes, and this is all you have.
Made bombs, yes.
Okay.
Because
Do you plan on
that's what she
making
has.
more of these bombs for any other reason besides personal defense?
No.
The Warforged goes, thank you for your honesty, and they sign off on it. And they make a note down, and they make a note of you. More like, you know, this person has them, but we're not super worried yet. But they have them.
Kiki is actually fascinated by the Warforged, and she like sort of surreptitiously is sketching in her notebook because of the mechanics, and she's trying not to be rude and stare, but she's
It's very interesting.
riveted. Yeah.
Because the Warforged kind of leaned over, writing furiously, and then Kiki's drawing furiously, and the rest of you
Yeah,
see
pretty
just
much.
beings just going to town on pads of paper.
Like we're both looking up at each other and like the Warforged is writing and she's sketching and this like up and she's delighted, but she's trying not to be like, you know, oh my god, are you totally like a Warforged? Oh my god, I totally want to learn all about you. You're my newest friend. She keeps
Kiki,
it all
you
in
can't just
her.
ask people if they're Warforges.
Pretty much.
Oh, incredible.
Next, says the Warforged, is Kiki is moved along, and
I'll move up next. So
the
I'm kind
Warforged
of
looks up, like, oh.
yeah, I'm kind of like jingling. I've got my armor and shield and sword are just right at the ready, and I give them my name. I say I'm Tessa. I'm from Mortal Plane, specifically Doshna Raw.
Oh, okay. Do you possess any demonic or otherwise powerful Shadowfell artifacts, anything like that?
I have to like do a check. I'm like, no, I didn't bring any with me, but now you have me concerned. Like, did I suddenly get one? No,
Do I
I'm
have
actually.
a water bottle and/or a knife?
If it reassures you, I'm a paladin of Alora, so I'm on the side of good, and I have no demonic artifacts on me.
No worries. Da-da-da-da. You get, and the Warforged lets you through.
Yeah.
I'll step up. Nicholas Doxborn, human, from Ventos.
Sir, are you a practitioner of the arcane arts?
Yes, sir.
Do you plan to ply your trade in the city? Beyond what your speaker has said.
Not beyond that, unless need arises, I suppose.
Okay. Makes a note of that. And finally, and she looks over to, they look over to Neva.
Folk would be half Dryad, half Elven, and plane of origin would be the Feywild.
Do you have an interplanar permit?
You pull that one basically like a diplomatic pass.
Yeah, you do. Like you have. Okay. And the Warforged looks at it and stamps it, and your interplanar passport. Oh, we see you're from the Crossroads. That's a lovely. I hear it's lovely there this time of year, mostly because they control the weather there.
It tends to be lovely there every time of year by nature. Well,
Ba-dum-bum.
I see what you did there.
The Warforged, they sign off on it and hand it back to you. And you folks are entered into the city as you see a group of beings beginning to gather, noticing the crowd. There's a menagerie of different types of folk. Most of it is minotaurs, gnolls, werewolves, there's a couple of warforges. There are some humans and dwarves, and you see that there seem to be waiting in larger... They're waiting in this bigger group, and smaller groups seem to be going through. Sort of like a haunted house, where because it's that time of year where they're going like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all right, you come on, as the groups are leaving with a guide that is bearing the labyrinth symbol of Thunderblade City, and then taking them into the walls as they shift and begin leading them through the labyrinth wall into the city itself. You wait there for about 20-30 minutes before you're up, and you see there is a female minotaur comes up to you, and she goes, "Hi, I'm Bella. Where are you folks looking ahead to in the city?"
Neither where the Von Laken establishment is. I mean, there's places to go shopping everywhere.
Right, so you're just looking ahead into are you looking for the garment districts, the armory districts?
Let's start in the garment district, I think. Let's all go in there together. And then I know some of us were looking for some armor, but let's start in garment.
Okay. So she takes you guys, and she begins leading you through the different passageways. And as I would like everyone to make perception checks, please.
Let's roll. Do some rolls. Haven't copy and pasted.
Ooh. I rolled a 20. Oh!
Okay.
Ooh.
Yep.
Nat 20. Plus 9.
16.
That's
You're
a roll.
perceptive as fuck tonight. Wow.
Holy Moses.
A
We've
non-natural
got 2
20. That's decent
non-natural
stuff.
20s. A 16, a 17, and a natural 20.
Well, that's good.
Wow.
So you folks stick very close to the guide, and you are not lost within these shifting walls. Neva, something you're noticing is that the walls are going all the way into the ground. So it's not like they're moving a little bit. They are fusing into the ground themselves, and you start to get a feel for some of the different pathways that are around. It is clear to you that if you spend enough time like these guides do, you would learn the sort of algorithm that runs this thing. But you are able to, you realize that with enough time you could probably become a guide, seeing how this works now. But it would take a while, and if you left this guide right now, you're probably going to be lost.
Understood.
Everyone else does not get lost. You stay very close to the guide, although none of you...
I am bumping into a lot of people, though. I'm just constantly saying, excuse me.
The Minotaur guide, Bella, does lead you eventually to another set of smaller gates that are the other end wall on the other side of the shifting maze. And she turns around and counts. Okay, good, you're all here. This is your entrance, and I hope you enjoy your stay here in the city.
Thank you, Bella. And I will pass her 3 silver.
She thanks you, and she accepts it as she heads back unblinkingly as walls just shift in front of her, and she moves, waiting for them. She turns, and another one just comes up right behind her.
Oh, were we supposed to tip? I never know if we're supposed to tip.
No, I got us. That's pretty typical for this group.
So the walls like in constant motion, or is it like 1, 2, 3 shift? 1, 2, 3 shift. Like, I'm curious visually how it looks.
So visually, like, they'll stay there for a while. So it's sort of like the labyrinth from Jim Henson, where things move slightly, and some of them are very big, like they are constantly coming up and down and turning different directions. But what Neva would notice is that some of them are very, very subtle and very, very slow moving. So while the bigger ones are catching your attention, she's noticing that there are smaller ones that would probably do more to turn you around, because it's just slightly different enough to make you question, wait, was that what I was looking at before?
Got it.
Very cool.
But you were in the city.
All right. Boy.
So where is the shopping district at? We want to get prepared for the event.
So we landed in, unless Bella really screwed us over and should have gotten those 3 silver. We are now in the garment district. So folks who were looking to pick up clothes specifically, can really start that shopping around process right here. Tessa, you said you were maybe looking for actual armory work.
Yeah, I'm looking for some plate and mail armor, but a little fancier, so I kind of fit in with the crowd. I know that's kind of unusual.
No, I hear you. I know the city a little bit, so maybe you and I can head off to the armory section, and folks who are looking to do clothes can stay here and do a little shopping around. How does that sound?
Sounds good to me.
All right. Yeah, I'm definitely on the shopping train.
Cool.
Yeah, I've got what I need to wear. Although if others are also there, if others are looking for something in particular, I'm happy to provide advice.
Maybe
what would be most practical for an event like this?
Maybe important detail. Does anybody have the ability to contact each other? Should we find a way to...
I can scream really loud with thaumaturgy. I don't think
Okay. You know what? Then we're fine.
I point a finger.
Questions.
modern problems require modern solutions.
I point a finger at you, Roscoe, and in your head you hear my voice, and I say, I can do this, but only short distance.
Perhaps then
Okay.
we make use of what's around us, which is to say that rather large clock tower over there showing us the time. Plan to meet back at exactly this spot in 1 hour.
Seems fair.
Sounds good.
Kiki's eyes go wide at the clock tower, and she's...
I know where Kiki's going for the next hour.
I know. She wants to examine.
So if Kiki
you
gets
need fancy
overstimulated
pants.
by like clockwork and such, this city is not only sprawling, but it is incredibly magical and technologically oriented. Like, there are all manner of bells and whistles kind of going around this whole spot.
So you can hear Kiki making a quiet sort of squee noise about everything. Because this is why she became an adventurer, just to learn more. So she's very excited.
Sorry for the typing sounds. That should be all of that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So let's go with Tessa and Roscoe first.
Yeah, so I feel like being from this city, I would know how to get us from Garment District to the Armory District without too much effort.
Yeah.
So I will guide Tessa and I that way.
Yep, you do. And you, Tessa, you notice that Roscoe knows a lot about this place, and even sort of, not quite back alleys, but definitely side streets to get you there away from the main thoroughfares. As the colorful drapings of the Garment District and the barkers for different fashions, be it regular, everyday, or high, give way to a familiar sound, probably, Tessa, of hammers striking metal and the smell of forges and soot and steel being smelted in the air.
I feel like I'm back at home.
Yep. There
Really?
is the singing of steel, the singing of hammers of smiths filling the air with the bangs and such.
Oh yeah, we actually have a lot of dwarves that have taken residence in WtR, and their craftsmanship is impeccable.
Now, I have a mechanical thing that almost never ever gets to come up, which is a background feature. Urchins have city secrets, which is, quote, you know the secret patterns and flows to cities and can find passages through the urban sprawl that others would miss. When not in combat, you and companions you lead can travel between any two locations in the city twice as fast as your speed would normally allow. Now, granted, I don't know anything about the labyrinth, but as long as I'm with Roscoe, can we get some fast travel time?
Absolutely.
Heck yeah!
Fast
Between
travel.
Roscoe's knowledge of the city and Nicholas's knowledge of how to move around in like urban areas, you are there. A journey that probably should have taken Roscoe about like an hour of walking takes about a half an hour. Like, you made some real good time thanks to Nicholas.
I don't think I've ever gotten to actually notice a background feature in my life before.
Use a background feature.
Yeah.
Nice. But there you are. And there are all manner of smiths, Tessa. There are minotaurs. There are some dwarves. There are warforgers whose hands seem to be a hammer itself.
Wow, I'm kind of
Does
like
every problem look
really
like a nail to
impressed.
them?
What was that, Kate?
Does every problem look like a nail to them?
No, because you see them. You see at one point, Tessa, the gentleman takes off the hammer hand, puts it down, and attaches a hand with digits.
Wow. That's something else.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of looking around, and I do see something that catches my eye. It's a really nice, like, shoulder pauldron set with a cloak and a breastplate that's kind of in the shape of a heart, which is close to what I'm looking for, as an Alaran paladin. So it would be close to that picture that I actually posted. So it's more on the formal side, a little bit more decorative, but still protective. So how much would something like that cost? Is there a shopkeeper around I could ask?
Sure. This gentleman is it's actually a dwarf. Looks pretty frazzled. He's got this rolled up thing in his mouth. Looks like a heavy paper and he's definitely smoking something. And he sees you, and he puts down his hammer, and he's just like, "Oh, hey, you're a large tiefling. What can I do for you?"
Yeah, I was interested in this armor set that you have right here. How much you asking for it?
Oh, this one. So this one has my niece did a lot of the clothing on it. It's not quite a full plate. I apologize. It's more of just that top piece, and it's a lot of good work there.
Yeah, it's very ornate. I'm actually going to be using it for a soiree, as you would call it.
Oh.
So I think that would fit the
like
bill.
a quinceañera or something.
I look at him like I have no idea what that means.
I'll take it. No. All right. This will cost you probably about, looking at time, this is about 500 gold.
Okay. Well, thank you for your time. I unfortunately do not have that much money, but maybe something a little simpler?
Sure. You look like you got something going on here. We could probably modify that for you. Bernice, get out of here! And a female dwarf walks out. And she's like, "How you doing, I'm Bernice?"
I'm gonna be here for these accents. Good lord.
Hi, Bernice. Yeah, my armor. We just got through this battle, and it's a little chipped up, and I need to go to a party later. Is there anything you can do?
And she looks at you. Give me a persuasion check, Tessa.
Okay. Actually, not terrible at persuasion. I rolled a 9, unfortunately.
Okay. I don't know. So the female dwarf looks at you and goes, I don't know, there, sweet cheeks. There's a lot going on right now. We got a lot of orders. Now, if you want, we could mock up the probably set you got there on you. You don't look too bad.
Yeah, I mean, if you could clean it up and maybe add a little bit of embellishments, how much would that cost?
I mean, with the cloth, you're probably looking at like 20, 30 gold.
Ah, that I can do.
Now, I'm sorry, what do you need this for?
We have a party for what was it? The Von Lycans?
Von Lycans. I'm picturing Nick and I are like sitting just outside the door, like on a bench.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pulled out one of those cigarettes, offered to Nick if he wants one,
Absolutely.
and we just are sitting there bumming, just like probably not even talking that much, just like sitting watching people
Just
walk
chilling.
by, and we both shout out in unison, "Von Lycan!"
Yes. So we're going to be, I guess, guarding that party.
So you say Von Lycan, and both of them stop, and they're like, "Oh, do you work for the Von Lycans?" Says the owner.
We took up a contract.
All right, you doing security there?
What did he say?
And then
I stick my head in. Yes.
Tell you what.
His investment in the, or whatever, his interest in the party has me suddenly much more invested in Tessa's shopping.
Yep. He goes, let me, we can work out a deal. What do you say?
What? I look at
Tessa,
Is that?
Tessa,
He's gonna hook you up. It's okay, Tessa.
I'm
Tessa,
glad-
can I try real quick? I'm gonna come in
Yes.
and try to speak Thunderblade, which is just common but filtered through South Philly apparently. Um,
Then I
When
should've
in doubt,
done
yins it out.
bruh.
Yeah.
Listen, I want you to be my guy in this. I'd like for you to be my guy. The Von Lycans would appreciate that as well. What's your plan? What do you got? I'd love to see it.
Okay. Here's what I got. Now are you with the large, luscious tiefling over here?
She's with me. She's with me. I'm with her. That's the whole game.
Right. Now, she's got to be dressed, right? She's got to be dressed real nice this party?
That's the plan. Well, the first part for sure. The second part for hopeful.
All right.
Not that kind of party. You know what I'm saying?
Alright. So we have been looking to get business from that family for a long time. Just a couple of jobs.
Couple 2-tree favors. I hear you.
No, we don't famous. Not looking next to them. They're a good family. They're good in the city. They're good as people.
But so are you. Hey,
I mean,
no
obviously,
negative
come
talk.
on.
So are you.
No, but I mean the Von Lycans, they got money, influence. A lot. They're good people, right? Good people. So maybe that they're having that party at the villa. Maybe we bring the stress, we knock off, we give you Tiefling for a little discount, and we get to go check out the dicks. Because maybe we can spot some places that might need some repair work. Maybe put in a good word for us. We'll see what's going on.
Ooh.
Do you have a logo you
let
can
me-
put on there?
I was about to say, I don't think it would be out of line for you to put a little maker's mark on there. Show the people what you got. Wear it around.
I mean, it's just like, let me quick question.
Talk to me. Don't be afraid.
Is this like a one-time wear for you, ma'am, or is it going to be like you be wearing it a bit?
No, I back where I come from, I go to these kind of things all the time, so I would definitely use it. I have a feeling that there might be more of these adventures in my future.
All right. You from Dosnaral, right?
Yes, I'm Ball.
I'm Ball. I don't know what that is. Sounds great. I don't know what that is.
In the middle. It's in the middle. That's all you really need to know.
Stuck in the middle. I like it. Good place to be. So, we will sell you what the set over here should go well with what you got. Get the breastplate, get what you need. You look nice. You're protected. You protected the gym jugs. You protected the shoulders. All of it. We'll give that to you for 150 gold.
That's a great deal, but unfortunately, I do not have.
Hold up.
150
Test.
gold.
let my at this point spiritually cousin speak.
Is that high for you? Still high, is what you're telling me.
No, well,
Yeah.
you finished. No, man. We respect your work. We respect your craft. You got to make a dime. You got to keep the lights on yourself. What were you gonna say?
So, I mean, look, how much, ma'am? How much? Like, again, I don't want to take you for everything you got. That's not gonna do nobody no good. How much you got on you?
Tessa has 100 gold more than whatever she's about to say to you.
I was just gonna say I've only been on one job so far, and we have that advance. I only have about 130 gold on me.
Right.
She's got 230 gold.
Tell you what. Let me go check a book real quick. And he goes in the back. You hear him like thumbing through something. He goes, all right. You're an Aloran, right?
That's correct.
Okay. You got powers to like cure things?
Ah, I can do that. Yeah, maybe we can work out a trade.
Ooh, me too.
Okay. Because I got to tell you, I went to a badger's den recently and I got an itch. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, wait. My aunt is an expert at this, and Tessa, like, cracks her knuckles, and she...
I'm a little concerned by the hands, but, you know, I hope they're gentle, because, like, it's a sensitive.
No, it's a spell. I don't need to touch you.
I wouldn't be mad about it, but here we go. So, 100 gold. You fix that problem. Maker's Mark, you put that on, and then what we're going to do is we're going to do a little delivery to the estate. You get us in. We get a look around. We can market the Von Lycans.
Kind of turn to Nicholas and Roscoe for the, do we be good with this? We good with this. Okay. Yeah, sounds like a deal. And I go to shake his hand.
He shakes your hand, and he goes, Bernice! Package this! And she scurries off. She grabs it. She actually puts it on you, Tessa, and she's like, oh, you got bigger jubs than we thought. We're going to have to bring this out a little bit. All right, we'll take care of it, though. Don't you worry. And she takes it in the back.
Just hammer it out.
Yeah.
I'm a big dog.
Yeah. All right, is Bernice going to go take care of that, but, and I mean this in a purely healing, paladin way, I need you to take care of me, because it's honestly been killing me, and I ain't paying those fuckers for that treatment.
All right. Just stand still. I'm just going to touch your shoulder here. So I kind of, I put my hand on his shoulder, and radiant light begins to glow as I cast Cure Wounds on him. And it kind of makes him glow for a couple seconds and just fades.
And you can tell he was like, okay. And he sits there for me, he's just like, that was worth it. That was totally worth it. All right. So, he just feels very relieved as Bernice comes out. She got tape measure. She goes, excuse me, Mr. Tiefling, you come back here. We gotta marry you. We gotta measure your gym jubs, because like I'm looking at this and I don't want to mess it up. We gotta come on. Can you come? Would you mind? I'm so tired. We gotta get measurements.
Yeah, sure. Of course. I'm not shy.
Yep.
All right, Tessa, Nick and I are gonna go across the street and get a beer. Meet us over there when you're done with your measurement.
Will do. I shouldn't be too long.
So the female dwarf and the male dwarf, he stays outside. He goes back to what he's working on. She goes, I need you to remove the tops. We got to get you don't need to move out. You definitely got undergarments on some of that, right?
Oh yeah, no. I take off the pauldrons and the scale and plate that I'm wearing, and it just kind of thunks down on the ground. Like it's pretty heavy.
Yep. She's like, oh, that's very impressive. So she begins taking your upper measurements, and she goes around your chest.
She's probably gonna need a chest step stool, to be honest.
She is, because it's pretty small. And she gets the full thing, and she's like, oh, good for you, she says, as she takes your bust measurement.
Yeah, it runs in the family.
I'd like to take a run at that family, you know what I mean, she says, and she gets the measurement.
Well, if you're ever in on ball.
Might have to charter a boat. We'll see. Maybe get some of that Von Lycan money. She does get the measurement. She goes, all right, come back in like an hour or two, and we should have this adjusted out. There's not a whole lot. It's going to let out the rings a little bit, because, again, your Jibbly Jubs,
Understood. So Tess is kind of laughing. She finds these two charming, and she's happy she's getting a good deal on the armor. So she's going to go meet up with Roscoe and Nicholas in the beer hall.
Yeah. So next door is it's a very dwarven beer hall. It's got a sign on it that says "Care of House Odom," and there are lots of people inside. Although everything is sized for minotaurs and larger beings, so it's sort of like being, even for you two being pretty tall, it's kind of like being a tween, like a smaller person, like a smaller tween, or like a really big kid at an adult's table. You're like, your feet don't quite touch the floor. And they give you massive steins of beer.
Ah, yes.
Very nice.
So I imagine we just hang out there for a little while, trading stories about like Thunderblade versus Ventos, city norms and stuff. While the armor gets sorted out.
Yep. Eventually, in about like 20 minutes, Tessa comes over. She is roughly sized for all of this place, and she joins you. So Neva and Kiki, what are you two up to while they have this South Jersey / South Philly, South Street interaction?
I'm sorry, I'm technically a South Jersey boy, so it's hard to convert. The conversion rate doesn't make a ton of sense.
Right, but it's not that far.
And some days.
Yeah.
South Jersey converts well to Philly the same way that North Jersey converts well to New York.
Yeah, I would say so. There's a little bit of overlap.
Yeah. So Neva and Kiki, are you just roaming around the city? What are you up to?
So I just have to say I took myself off of mute because I was laughing so hard during that exchange. So Kiki would probably be like laser focused on Clock Tower, but she's like, also there's just so much. So she probably like, she's pretty shy, but she might cast a longing glance at the tower, like if Neva wants to check it out, but she's also not wed to it 100%.
Neva, yeah. So Neva has a passive perception of, hold on, let's check. So Neva absolutely notices you're glancing longingly
Say
at
that
it.
number again?
19?
Level 4, you've got a 19 passive
Expertise.
Woo!
Expertise, bitches!
Yum.
So Neva would... wait, hold on. How bad is my charisma? Yeah, my charisma is shit. Never mind. I would not say the polite version. As I say, Kiki, you look quite interested in the tower. I'd kind of like to see the view of the whole city. It'll give me a better sense of kind of a map in my head. Would you like to see it more up close?
Yes, please. Yes. She like kind of almost softly claps her hands together. She's mainly excited by the mechanics of having worked in a watchmaker's shop for a while, so this is just like on a grand scale to her. She also wouldn't mind a view.
Yeah, so Neva actually does want to see the view of the entire city because it will help her make a mental map.
Mm-hmm. Right, so you head up to it, and there's a front door, and there's a bell that says "Ring for service."
Kiki rings.
Nothing happens at first, and then you hear, and then from behind you lands an Arakoa. This one looks very hawkish, but has the wings. The person has the wings on the back. They are dressed in like kind of grease monkey gear, like pants and overalls. And the bird person behind you looks behind you and goes, "Yes, hello. How can I help you?"
Kiki's eyes go wide because she always has wing envy about people who can actually fly, and then she pauses for a second because she doesn't have words, and she's like, and she kind of recognizes a kindred spirit, I think, with the overalls, especially if they have grease on them. She's 100% like making like a solidarity fist in the air. And she's like, Watchtower.
Oh,
yes.
Kinku. Are you interested? You're interested in the tower then?
Oh yes. Clockmaker, tinkerer. She's so excited. She's actually having trouble vocalizing. So she takes her key out and she rewinds the little box at her throat, which helps her speak. her little squawk box, and then she's like, "Yes, please, tower, pendulum, scale." She's just like, she starts naming parts of like watches and clowers because she's like, "How do you make this work at such a large scale?" You know, a tour possible tour.
The Arako says yes. My name is Arak.
Kiki.
Yeah.
Says Kiki.
And you are? Says the Arako to Neva.
I'm Neva. I am rather less interested in the intricacies of the clockwork, but I'd certainly appreciate a view from the tower.
That's fine. This is a public work, so the citizenry of and our visitors may see it if they wish, although we can't let you into the some of the workings in the upper spire because, you know, we needed to keep running. But I can let you in, so if you folks would follow me. And the Arakoa does open the door, and in you go, and you see a number of other beings dressed very similarly to the Arakoa, moving things, and on the lower levels it seems sort of the workshop to make sure all the springs and gears and the magical implements of this clock that keep it powered and running remain moving, and they're definitely repairing gears and cogs. There appears to be a gnome, an older gnomish woman that is the taskmaster and possibly like the head engineer here. That's smaller than Kiki, definitely.
So Kiki's mentor was actually an older gnome woman. So Kiki is sort of like her eyes have gone like saucers so big. She's just absolutely delighted by the mechanics, and she feels absolutely at home. So she says hello. She just says hello, whoever's closest, like, "Hello, I'm Kiki." And then she's like the springs. I'm sure the scale is just so different than what she's used to with like small, intricate mechanics. And she's just like, and then to the guide, she's like, Jubs. She's like, so happy. she's like, what little speech she's capable of. She's like kind of breaking down a little in her excitement.
And the Arako is like, no, just relax. We can take you through. And he gives you folks a tour of the bottom levels. This is probably like a 5-story building, if not a little bit taller. And you're able to get up to right below where the clock itself sits on the highest point. And there appears to be like a slight promenade area where you can get out to for when they like clean the clock and have to do things on the outside, where Neva can see now, looking over the city, as far as she can tell, expands into the horizon. This place is massive. It looks to have been... It is circular, but you can tell from where you are with your passive perception, because fuck you. 19. Jesus.
Donk.
There is definitely places that it's sort of like Boston, DC put together, where there definitely are old villages where villages once were, and it's kind of built based on those markings. And then they sort of went, doing a hodgepodge is a real bad idea for a big city. We should not do this. And there's a lot more organization in other parts, where it is a circle, but also a little bit of a grid. So you can start to tell where they started actually planning this, how the city would expand.
Where it's like from Boston to DC.
Yeah. Where planning came in, where it was just like, oh, we'll throw it there, it's fine.
So you know those museums and stuff where they tell you whether you're actually allowed to take photographs or not? If there's any signage saying don't sketch, or Kiki's ignoring it completely, and she's got her sketchbook out, and she's like, she'll just wait until someone tells her to stop, because she's thrilled by all this. So she's taking notes on the mechanics, the gears, the pendulums, whatever they use, any kind of glyphs or sigils they're using for the magic. She's absolutely in heaven.
They don't stop you. Kiki does try and urge someone to wander up to the higher levels, where you see some of the workers moving up to that are going to replace a cog. At that point, you are stopped, and they're like, "Oh, we're sorry, you can't. This place is off limits. You can't get up here." And they're not being mean to Kiki, but they're like, "We can't let anyone who doesn't work here up here, because we have to make sure it keeps going. This is a civic thing."
Kiki nods, and she kind of just cranes her neck a little bit to kind of like see what she can see over their shoulders and stuff. She's not greedy by nature, so she's happy she's got this much insight. So she's just like, "Thank you,
Yeah,
it's okay."
Kiki can
Keeps
see
looking.
that only are there tinkerers and engineers kind of putting things in, but once they've slotted things in, some kind of caster comes out and begins weaving spell work to make things move, and making sure it's moving in time as it should be to keep the increments that this large mechanical thing needs to in order to maintain like a steady progression of time.
Kiki's basically having a braingasm right now. This is just she's like, as an inventor, as like a maker, a tinkerer, she's completely in heaven about all of this, like being immersed, where she's used to, you know, more intricate things that she manipulates with her hands. These things are just at a scale that's beyond for her. It's absolutely delightful.
Okay, so eventually Kiki and Neva spent a lot of time there. Over at the shop, Tessa, you do get your armor.
I'm kind of gushing over it and the craftsmanship, and I'm very thankful. And I tell them that, again, if you're ever in Noshnaral, you know, feel free to name drop. We'll get you set up there.
We will. And we're gonna be by the come by the, you know, the grounds, and you know, in a day or two, and you know, take a look around as part of the deal.
Of course.
All right. Eventually, you two meet back up. The two groups meet back up, and you see Neva and Kiki. You see Tessa in a much nicer version of her armor. Looks very formal and pretty. And the three of you see Kiki post-cranial coitus, basically.
Mind exploded.
Pretty much, she's just like, you could see little sparks of inspiration coming off her head. But then I have to say,
I'm assuming that she's like frantically like scurrying down ideas in her notebook, and so like Neva has her staff out, and every so often she's just like lightly like tapping Kiki one way or the other to like steer her through the crowd safely.
so that Kiki doesn't walk into someone or something.
Imagine it's like
will say
it's like a hockey puck.
I know, magic's so good.
Just moving him.
Yeah, it's so. I think though that Tessa's shiny armor might actually pull Kiki out of her reverie, because she loves shiny so much.
It's very shiny.
Very shiny.
Oh.
Very shiny. It's the shiny. I'm still looking at the shiny.
But now you know it's time to go seek the Von Lycan estate to get checked in with them and figure out where you have to go, and to get the necessary passes you're going to need to go to that property and kind of get filled in. So you, with a little bit of guidance, so Roscoe, you know where the Von Lycan's home is. And home is a very loose term, as it is a very large mansion at one of the inner rings of this city, like one of the innermost parts. It's a place that you've been by, you have seen, you have never been in, probably, most likely.
No.
As you arrive, you are checked by guards, all of which are werewolves, and they are in their hybrid form, so they stand very tall, very proud, and they look at you, and they, you know, you give them, Roscoe, the invitation. They know that you're for the contract from Knight's Bane, and they allow you in.
Thank you, fellas.
Yep, you walk through a long yard as a very large, like, two-winged manor home. Multiple stories, looks old but very well kept. Is there as you begin to making your way down the walkway. There are fountains. There are a lot of these people have a lot of money.
Scoot, one thing I want to throw out, just at some point as we're walking through the city, like hearing the stories of what the other group was doing, doesn't need to be a conversation. I just want to throw out to Kiki, because Roscoe is a little nervous around Kiki. He's a little nervous that he's going to say the wrong thing. So I very intentionally, like, as we're walking around, like, catch myself walking in stride with her and just, like, offhandedly go, oh, you got to talk to an Aarakocra. That's so cool. I haven't practiced my Orin in forever. And
You speak?
Orin?
Yes.
Is Orin a little easier for you, Kiki?
Yes.
And I drop into Orin. Orin.
She's very excited, and she starts blathering on about the clock tower and meeting Jub, and she's like, I didn't know you speak this, and it's just much easier for her than common or any other language, which she uses her squawk box for around her throat. So she actually warms up to Roscoe a little bit more.
Yeah, so we just chat a little bit as we're walking through these palatial halls.
Mm-hmm. You eventually come, you're walking through the streets, having this conversation with Kiki, you get to the gate, you come to the main door, and it is opened, and you see a very grand vestibule, but in this main hall before a very grand staircase are a number of statues. Yeah, good point, Rob. Jub was not the name of the Arakoa. It was what the dwarves called Tessa's breasts. They called them Jub.
Oh.
There'll be a clarification on that.
Yeah.
So many names.
You named it Araka, I think.
Araka, yeah. Araka was the name of the
Araka?
Arakoa.
Araka the Arakoa? Okay, that's easier.
It's close. They got that. But as you come there are...
Fair.
I didn't want to say anything because I kind of wanted to just let it keep happening.
Just keep calling this bird person boobies. I don't understand.
Well, is he
Is his last name McGee? Because then he could be Tits McGee.
Oh my god!
Actually, that was my nickname in college.
Oh no!
I have it on a shirt.
To make fun of them, do they call this guy turkey breast? Like, what's the answer?
Deb, I never got Tits McGee, despite the fact my last name is actually McGee. I was, however, Maniac McGee for an entire year when we read that book in 5th grade.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
Okay.
I don't think I have enough tits to be Tits McGee.
I didn't either.
I don't think I have enough Jubs to be Tits McGee, sorry.
It was more ironic.
We are the right people to call for a fancy party.
Yes.
I know.
Only the highest class.
I legit thought I missed something, and the dude's name was Jub. I'm not gonna lie.
That's what I was concerned about. I was like, okay, I was trying to not pay super close attention to the clock tower because I wasn't there, so I don't want to have perfect human knowledge of the interactions. It's like, what was his name, Jub? Was it really?
To be fair, for the way you've described Tessa's Jubs, they're about the size of an Arakoa, so
fair.
Probably.
Fair.
Yeah. Okay. I'm glad we got that cleared up.
Now I'm just picturing...
All right. Out of
Tessa's breast is two just kiwis, like the birds.
Like how they kind of sit low and scrunch up and fluff out. Yes!
Wow.
She could have a pair of pet tits.
Bouncing tits, even.
There's a lot of bird
great tits.
Bird puns going on right now.
She could also have, in addition to her great tits, she could also have some boobies.
Yeah, one of each. One tit, one boobie. There you go.
Well,
We've got the double face palm, guys. The DM has double face palmed. We did.
Wait. You're a tiefling, so they are quite specifically blue-footed boobies.
Hey. Good job, guys.
Well, that's my time. They're showing me the way.
We're here every Thursday. Thank you for coming in.
One time I plan things out. I have notes. That's why I don't do this normally. That's why I never get to the other games I play with you people.
All right.
Anyway, very lovely best of you all. Very high class. There are specifically statues dedicated to each of the original groups that helped to found Thunderblade. There's not a specific person. It's just sort of an homage to the folk that helped. So there are there's one to Nulls, one to Warforges, one to the Lycans, and then one to the Minotaurs. And there's another one that there is a statue, but there's a pedestal, but there's nothing on it, and it says to the lost. So you are allowed in. They take you up the stairs to a gif of bouncing tits that is now in the Discord.
So I wanted to take just a little bit of a closer look at the To the Lost pedestal thing.
Sure. Are you like checking, or just kind of checking it out?
I mean, I don't want to like poke at it or anything, but just like kind of take a closer look, kind of look at the sides of it. I'm just intrigued as an orphan, basically.
Yeah. So it's the same pedestal that everyone else has. It just says To the Lost on it, and on the top there is nothing. Like, it's flat, very smooth. There is on each of them, though, there is a little plaque that has they have names on them of what they believe the name of the original folks that were there, the leaders at the time, and the plaque on the Lost pretty much reads, for all those that were here from the beginning till now, that had no names, that fought in the greater service of the city and the people that we aim to protect, for the misbegotten, the unwanted, and those who others feared.
Just gonna rest my hand on the plaque for a little bit while I read it and move on.
You are led up the stairs, and you come into an office where you see two werewolves are sitting dressed very finely at a desk. One is at a large desk that is made of a rich mahogany. There appear to be lots of books and papers.
Does it smell of leather-bound books and rich mahogany, Scoot?
Yeah, and weed, as one of them, the older one, seems to be smoking a very long pipe. And there's a very specific smell in the air that definitely Neva would pick up on working at a college for a certain amount of time. And the rest
Nobody
of
else in the group knows that I worked at a college, by the way, but yes, Neva knows exactly what that smell is.
Mm-hmm. She hasn't said that to the characters, but the people know. The one that is smoking, who is sitting like not behind the desk but in front of it, is a decently large, graying werewolf. He, in his sitting behind the desk, is a kind of gray to blackish fur one. They look very similar. They are clearly related, although one is much older than the other. As you can see on his muzzle, it's begun to go white, kind of like an older dog's does. So that the grayness started kind of by the snoot and has begun to work its way back, and his fur is not as thick and not as dark as his counterpart across the seat. So you are announced as you come in, and both of these gentlemen get up, and the one from behind the desk comes around, smiles very very widely, and introduces himself as Patel von Lycan. Ah, welcome. You must be Neva, he says as he walks up to you.
Neva bows deeply. Says, one thing the court teaches you is manners.
Unlike some of you people.
I didn't say that.
I did.
I didn't even imply it.
I did.
Anyway, Neva bows deeply and says, yes, it's an honor to make your acquaintance. May I present to you the remaining members of this group? And she gives everybody's names and surnames, if they have given surnames previously.
He smiles. Welcome all. My name again is Patel von Lycan, and this is my father, Gen. I am the current patriarch of the family. My wife, the matriarch, and our past matriarch are in another part of the matter, attending some other business, but we'd like to welcome you. And I asked for Neva by name, and I'm sure you are a very competent group. If I know anything about Neva, I don't know if you remember you taught some of my pups not that long ago.
I recall.
I believe, do you remember Bendo and Darshell?
They are unforgettable.
Make a history check.
Prove it.
The dice will decide if you remember these people you taught.
12.
You remember Bendo because she was more in your line of work, as some of the other one, Darshell, was more of a magic user and studied in that stream.
If I recall, Darshell spent more time in Pug's office than
She
in...
was probably doing something bad. He sort of chuckles, and the other one laughs as well.
Not that she often got caught at.
No, she was very slick about it. But I'm glad to hear you were here. As I believe we can trust you and your companions with keeping the party at peace. We have a lot of visiting dignitaries from different places. We have
Is there a particular concern that you have that you felt the need to request me by name?
Oh, yes. He says we were recently up at my father, he would say again, well, why don't you tell them? And the older werewolf kind of picks himself up. He has a cane in his right paw, and you can see that this is not a fashion cane. He's actually using it to help himself balance and walk, as he doesn't look frail, but doesn't look particularly, he's past his prime, certainly. He goes, yeah, we have trouble with a group we call the Five Heirs. They are those that will inherit the titles and leadership of the 5 houses that make up the Federation of Houses to our west. And they are a repugnant group of asshats, he says, in that honesty that only the elderly will ever really give you.
Kiki, please add your notes.
Neva, so I have a charisma of +0. Neva strongly prefers the assholery, or at least straightforwardness of the elderly and the very young.
Mm-hmm. And you see Petal just kind of takes a deep breath and sort of wants to correct his father to be nice, but he can't. And you don't think that's out of a familial oh, he's my dad, more than no, dad's right. And
they're assholes.
Yeah, they are assholes. But Beetle kind of starts up again saying, yeah, we have visiting dignitaries from the Storm Isles and further points south. We have a couple of emissaries from Doshna Rall coming, as well as some from our recent connections in Lasana, and we are here to show them a good time, that we're welcoming, that we're reasonable people. The last thing we would like is for these 5 little ass hats to start a ruckus.
Understandably. Is it your intention that we specifically or primarily keep an eye on this group of 5 while others of your guard are maintaining security in general?
Yeah, our house guard, as well as some of the folks from the city prefectures, will be making sure things remain safe. Having these people in one spot, of course, presents its own particular dangers and considerations. But your group on the inside, because that way, if you have to manhandle one of these little fucks, we won't be really causing an international incident, will we?
Understood. I understand the necessity of distance here.
Now, I know I'm doing a lot of talking to Neva, and I apologize that, but how do the rest of you feel about what I've just said? And he looks out to the other 4 of you.
I'm cool with it.
Kiki pulls out a small bomb. She goes, "Asshats go, kaboom!"
Yeah, I'm here as the muscle when I kind of do one of these.
She wants to be very clear about instructions. She's trying to read between.
Asshats go, kaboom!
That will be
Uh,
that will be the title of this when I post this video.
I believe it would be preferable that they didn't. However, an explosion might make an effective distraction in the event of asshattery. Perhaps
Kiki
a
looks a
look
little-
over there to the other guest.
She looks slightly deflated. She goes, well, and she kind of puts the bomb back. Okay.
I
Patel
personally
looks
have
at
no
Neva
problem.
like, should I be concerned about that, or?
Oh no, they're quite well controlled. She's designed them very well.
I personally have no problem with a nice, tight, controlled kaboom. But by chance, do you have any descriptions of the 5 airs? Is there going to be a convenient way to...
on them.
I sent you folks a list in
Yeah.
my Discord.
Yeah, I just
One,
opened that
he gave
one
us
up.
dossiers out of character. 2, we were given them by the Night's Bane. You didn't read the guest list, did you?
My computer doesn't have words, so I did not.
I can give you descriptions if you would like. Says.
I can hold on. I can do this.
Sure.
I got a way. I can do this. I got this. I got this. I
Although
got this.
Gen, Gen, the older
She
werewolf,
got
looks at
this.
you, Roscoe, and he goes, "I'm sorry. I know you. You look very familiar to me."
I grew up in Thunderblade.
Yes.
My dad is Barrack. Some people know him as Barrack, Watcher of the Fate Touched. I don't know if that rings any bells.
It does. The moon is quite important to us.
Oh shit, that's right. You guys are saloon people. You know the deal. Well, hello.
Gen looks at you and he nods and he takes a sip of a flask. He goes, This would be interesting, he says as he smiles to himself.
I pull out a flask from inside my vest and go, I also think it will be interesting. I say to himself.
Are you anything like your father?
I hope so.
And he nods at you and he lifts his flask to toast you.
Right back at you.
And he takes a long pull.
I take a shorter pull than that. Like, we're about to go to work.
Yeah, he's not working. He doesn't give a shit. He's retired. He doesn't care.
I'm miscreant adjacent, not miscreant. That's crazy.
Miscreated Jace.
So Pito kind of his eyes, now that he's sort of seen people, he draws it to Nicholas, and he goes, "And you, what is your particular set of skills, my good sir?"
I along differently. I bring magic.
Oh, that's good. Hopefully not explosive property damage magic.
Only if needed. Sounds like it isn't.
Concerning, Vital says, but I'm sure we can work with it. Now, if you all would join us, I can give you a very brief explanation of how things are going to go and what your timeline and schedule looks like. I assume Silverton told you about the pay.
Yes, that's already been discussed. I'd look forward to a tour so we have a relatively good understanding of the grounds and any further explanations or information you can provide.
All right. Well, we have you for about 7 days, including today. So we were hoping to pretty much have things move as the following. Today we're supposed to arrive and meet with us. Tomorrow is a day for you to shop, get anything you need. We're also going to head down either tomorrow or the next day to the site. We have accommodations ready for you, basic things, beds, cots. I'm sorry, some of you will be sharing accommodations as we do have a lot more guests than we're normally having down there. The 4th day is a day for you, off, do what you want, pray, drink, I don't know what you folks particularly do. Day 5 will be a rehearsal. We will be running through things. The bards will be coming, says Pitel on day 5. Gen grins, but Pitel looks like he's not thrilled at that concept, or he's there's already a headache coming. Day 6, the rest of the staff arrives and begin doing a lot of the immediate prep work. This is when you will be quote unquote on to make sure everything's going smoothly, as some of the guests will arrive. And the 7th day is the party, where hopefully everything goes on without a hitch. Everything will move on. Everyone will have a lovely time. No one will need to explode in either from bombs or otherwise. And then you folks can have yourself a payday.
Understood.
Wonderful.
All right. So, feel free to stay. We have do you have accommodations in the city, or?
We do not at present. If you would prefer for us to remain here, we're amenable to that. And if you prefer for us to remain in the city.
Yeah, so Gen, as soon as you're like, as soon as you say no, he's like, nonsense, they'll stay with us here. We have enough fucking rooms in this place. Patel goes, no, that's fair enough. I'm sorry, I think we only have a few of the suites open. Do you folks mind sharing, or?
I have no
Goodness,
objection.
no.
Get a room with less than 12 people in it.
Yeah.
Luxury! Luxury!
So you see Patel lifts his face up and he howls as a couple of you've seen the armed guards. By armed, they're not in like full play, but they definitely are sort of roguish with rapiers and definitely heavier metal armor on. Now some of the house staff shows up and they lead you to where you will be accommodated for the night. There are 2 rooms. It's more or less like there's you ever been like a residence inn where it has like kind of a small main like common area, and then
Kitchenette.
Kitchenette, like a living room, a little kind of a lounge in the middle, and then there's 2 bedrooms and a very large bath. This is you sort of get part of a floor to yourselves.
Okay.
By the way, Kiki pays close attention to his howl and his voice. She just sort of like, she knows he's in charge and stuff, and she just kind of to herself like takes note of his vocalations and how they sound. That's all.
All right, you were left there, and there are 2 rooms. So there is to the left and the right of the common room, where you folks are free to spend the evening, and you will be heading out to the site where the party is going to be, the location, if you will. The venue is the word I'm looking for, tomorrow. But again, Gen tells you, as he kind of comes over, that you're, free to, the kitchen's downstairs. It never really closes. There's always somebody up on staff. You are free to walk around the grounds.
Scoot robot for anybody else?
Can you hear me?
What was that? I can hear him.
Yeah.
Did
Sounds-
Scoot go robot
sounds
for
good.
anybody else?
No,
Mm,
Just you.
Oh, might be
just you.
All right.
When Nick sees the bath, he kind of goes, oh, bath.
Yeah, there's a tub that'll fit probably like Tessa and at least one of you else, like if you like pretty comfortably. Or
I turn the water on.
that's a huge tub.
Big tub.
It's a real big tub.
And there are very big, soft beds in each of them. One has a king, and the other has like 2 queens.
I'm glad to jump on the couch if you guys want to split up everything else.
Neva looks at both of the beds like terribly not interested in them. Scoot, are there any like, I don't know, trees around?
Yeah, there are large trees like
House
outside.
There's a
You
bush
see through the
there.
window, like there's like not an orchard, but definitely a
Like-
couple like fruit trees, a real big oak that looks like
Okay.
it's been there for
Big oak is
goddamn
where Neva's
ever.
gonna be sleeping.
Go stand by the fake ficus.
I won't need bed space. You all are welcome to divvy up the bed as you wish.
I was gonna take the king, but I think I would be tickled to see Kiki take the king bed.
Okay, by the way, the king bed is the largest bed Kiki has ever seen Like she
Exactly.
also
I feel like you.
is like a former
Yeah.
urchin. Like
We want to get that like swimming in sheets effect.
she's also only like 5 feet and change as far as her
Yeah, so
height.
Kiki has to like actually like walk to the front of the bed from like when she gets in it.
Like she kind of like looks at. She doesn't know what to do. She's kind of like
I lean over
sure?
and say, I lean over and say in Orin again, just do it. Just lean into it, dude.
Okay, so Kiki kind of looks like that kind of sheepish, excited, like guilty, and she jumps on the bed and she starts bouncing a little bit. She's very like she's never felt a bed so comfortable in her life. She's like used to sleeping in the streets or a cot. Like she is just like it's almost unimaginable luxury for her. She's very excited.
Yeah, so Gen came with you as he's showing you through the rooms of some of the servants, and he's leaned up against the doorway, and there is a very large wolf-like smile on his face, mostly because he's a wolf man.
But also because it's
That'll do it.
Yeah, but this is really adorable, and he's very much enjoying seeing Kiki enjoying herself as he chuckles to himself. He looks towards Roscoe and he goes, "You know, there's a pretty nice tavern a couple streets over if you folks would be interested."
Again, are you saying you need a drink? Because if you need a drink, I need a drink. I have no problem with that.
I ran this family with my wife for a long time. Haven't stopped drinking since my son took over.
I don't want to speak ill in front of the boss, but from what I just heard, the part of my job that matters doesn't happen for 7 days.
Also, you're our security, right?
Oh, yeah, I can
Well,
blast and drink at the same time.
One of those. I'm going out into the city, and I don't think you would want his poor old man.
Oh,
going
yes!
to you.
Wait, yes, I'll be your security right now. I go grab my spear, leave my biddle on the couch. Guys, we have some very important security to do at a bar nearby, if anybody's interested. Has Neva already gone outside?
No, I simply figured out where I'll be sleeping. I'll come with you guys to the tavern.
Guys, very important bar security.
I turn back and forth between the bar group and the slowly filling bathtub.
Nick, you'll have 7 days.
Yeah, okay.
Those things.
I turn the
The
water off.
tub will keep, Nicholas.
You know, we could probably buy some bath bombs in town.
Kiki's also like
Bombs?
she was starting to bunch all these pillows up together, and she's like kind of sighs, and she's like, okay.
I
You make it
Hello,
put my arm around Nicholas and I just go, if a former alpha says to you, let's go get a beer, you go get a beer. We're about to get some crazy fucking stories.
But like, this
Street urchins are all about the creature coming.
I've literally never had a bath in my life, Roscoe.
It's
Nick,
been
if you
rivers.
wanna-
Okay.
It's just rivers and streams.
Okay,
If you want
I
to
know.
so what
I can wait.
also entirely fine.
so what I'm hearing is that 2 people are about to give me some crazy fucking stories. Let's go.
Okay.
So
Okay.
Gen does come over to you. Nicholas, lad, if you want to go take a bath, we're going to be at that bar for a while.
I will take a bath tonight.
Wonderful. The rest of you, come on, I'm buying. And he begins making his way to the bar.
Oh, I meant like I'll take a bath like once we get home.
Oh, then he's fine with that.
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
going
yeah.
to the bar now. He's done.
I've delayed gratification for, I don't know, 22 years or something. I can wait another few hours.
Yeah.
Bath night can wait.
So as you come into this, so he describes this place as like, it's a nice hole in the wall, but it's fine. It is a bougie fucking club. Going to.
Oh no!
So everyone's seen Cheers, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
No, I have not.
So it is this. So it's not like the richest club in town, but he walks in and Nicholas and
I googled Cheers Bar and I got the vibe.
yeah. So like it's sort of it's mocked up to be like homey, kind of working class, but like the people in here are not. Like they're coming here for
Right.
the experience.
There's not a scrap of denim within a mile of the front
No.
door.
These are people that are sort of dressing down, or there's a lot of new.
Yeah, down to their 5-piece suits, right?
Yeah. Well, actually, there's a lot of nouveau riche here, people that have
Okay.
come up into this upper echelon, but like are not old money or like don't subscribe to that particular version of things, and are just like, fuck it, like I just want, like, I desperately want a Miller High Life because it's what I remember. Like, for the love of God.
Why?
Scoot. So, seeing this, and I'm betting there's like a line at the door with people dressed that way. I'm still in like my regular clothes, but I am gonna cast Mage Armor for what you guys would probably, I think, see as the first time. When Roscoe casts Mage Armor, like a ghostly version of his dad's armor settles around him. So you just see, kind of only when you're looking at him out of the corner of your eye, a almost like Tron armor, but in the shape of like old Roman breastplate and like the leather strips over the kilt and like a winged helmet, but like it's just like in like tinkles of light, just like little running lights around that you only see out of the corner of your eye, because I'm trying to just give the air that like Gen's with the cool table. Okay, he's a good guy.
Speaking of that, hang on, I have to pull
In
something
contrast, Neva has literal birds in her hair. I mean, don't get me wrong. She's actually wearing something. She's wearing a nice outfit right now because they were going to meet the Von Lycans, and that's what you do when you are part of Spring Court. You wear nice things to meet fancy people. But she's still a dryad. Her hair still has vines and flowers in it, and there are still birds around.
I'm just in straight armor.
Yep. So the thing is, as there's a bit of a line. It's not a huge club line, but there are some people kind of waiting to come in because it's part of the experience. However, Gen goes right to the front and just goes in. Like clearly has VIP status as he gets in there, and as they walk in, everyone's very happy to see him. He's very clearly a regular here. As he moves there and he sits down, he orders drinks, and you folks, Tessa, this is like, sort of like visiting your family down in Anshin with the level of drinks that you have right now. Most of you are getting very fine boozes that you've seen, but they were in those bottles where you're like, I don't want to touch that because if it breaks, I don't know if I could pay for it.
I don't want to look at it because if it breaks, someone might think I had something to do with it.
Yeah.
Where's the bottom shelf liquor?
Right, but he's ordering for you, and he goes, and Gen looks at him and goes, I would, if you don't mind, folks, I mean, order what you want, I'll take care of it, it's fine. There's no point in, accruing money if you can't spend it on other people and, enjoy yourself. But there is a game we used to play in my youth, and I don't know if any of you know, it's called Captain's Cup.
Do I know this, having been recently at university?
Yeah, so it's a sort of drinking get to know you game.
Okay.
And he pulls out a deck of cards, and he goes, every card is associated with something. And it's a way to get to know each other a little bit. It's a way to have a little fun, get a little drunk, or for some people a lot of drunk. A few folks would be willing to play. And again, there's a very similar grin to when he was watching Kiki enjoy herself, but now it's a little more mischievous.
Mm-hmm. Impish, even.
Yeah, not malicious, but definitely impish. He's looking to screw around a bit.
Well, Tessa's definitely in. She's actually played this before with her cousins, so she knows what's about to go down, and she grabs herself a beer.
I'm willing to play. Neva has absolutely also played this. Again, players know, but characters don't. Neva taught at a college for quite some time. And she will also get just an ale. Something local.
No. You're all given drinks. There are some appetizers on the table. So what you all need to do for this particular game in meta...
Cheese board.
Sure.
A charcuterie?
Whatever you want.
Yes.
This is going to be based off your con score.
Okay.
So whatever your con modifier is,
I'm
whatever
here for
that
it.
number is, add 1 to it.
Okay.
That is your max sober level. Every time you have to drink, you go down by 1. When you hit -5, you are out of the game, and however that looks like to you is what it looks like, right? So that comes to the point where you're just tired and you don't want to do it anymore. You can pass out drunk. You know, it's up to you what you want to do. But that's when you're out of the game.
Okay.
What we will be doing is we will be rolling a d10 to determine what cards you pull, and I will explain the cards as they are rolled. Does everyone have their con mods? Is that math ready to go?
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty.
Con mod +1 is where we start.
This is where you start, yeah. And if you hit now, the other thing is that
And just for like the role playing, like, so does that mean that like 0 is drunk and 5 is like some version of blackout?
yeah, 5 is you can no longer do this. However that means for you. If that means like you yourself
Or
hit
-5,
your limit,
right?
-5. Minus
Yeah.
5 is you've hit your limit, and however your would your character pass out? Would they just go, nope, I'm done now, or they walk away? Whatever that means for you.
Excellent.
I have acquired a cat.
Is good.
Hi, Cat.
Okay, so Gen is going to start. Gen rolls a 1. So 1 means everyone drinks and loses 1 off their con mod, off their current drink score.
Strong
This
start.
is gonna go quick.
Alright. Shot.
Shots.
The next one will be Neva. So I'm going to go based off my screen so we can have some semblance of order.
That's the circle. Okay.
Neva rolled me 4.
All right, everyone roll me a d20.
Oh boy.
Wow.
Because it's 4 to the floor, and the lowest one takes the drink.
Okay.
Ooh.
We got a tie.
Do we roll off or do we both drink?
Roll off.
2 8s.
Okay.
So it's between Niva and Nicholas.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
You crit failed, you asshole.
Ooh.
That nat 1.
Alright. Neva drinks again.
No, I drink, right?
Oh no, you're lowest, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're good.
Oh boy, alright, we're negatives already.
Oof.
Okay.
We're doing great.
Oh shit.
Doing it
The
hard.
wizard
I feel,
the
like,
wizard is a little sloshed.
I feel like the flavor of like Nick being like done with this game, or when he hits his -5, is going to be like, all right, I can resist the lure of the bath no longer. I'm sorry. I'm.
We need to get this wizard so
Possibly.
I look
Give him
forward to a new
appetite.
character when you drown in the bath drunk alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, you really shouldn't drink alcohol and take a bath.
I have a
Sure,
plan,
I really
actually.
saw
Deb.
I
it's your
really
turn.
saw Roscoe and Nicholas getting to be buds.
Yeah, unfortunately, it looks like it's gonna be a short
That
evening for the boy.
Okay, my Discord just freaked out. Was I up next?
Yes.
No, me
Okay.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, it kind
Yeah,
of
that was
just
really weird.
it had a moment.
Roll a d10, Deb.
9.
9 is, I have modified these from the game we all know. So it is time for questions. So, everyone may ask,
Such game.
in character, everyone may ask,
My 20-page backstory coming full circle now.
everyone may ask Tessa one question.
Tessa.
Yes.
What's the highest you've ever flown?
Ooh. I'm gonna say maybe 150, 200 feet in the air. I don't tend to go super high. It takes a lot of effort to do that. And I like to be close to the ground, just in case.
Cool. 0 follow-up questions.
Well, you get one, so next.
I'm allowed to talk to you. We're in a game, but we're still people.
How drunk
have
is
one-
Roscoe right now?
Roscoe, as I've said from the first moment you met him, always seems like he's one deep and almost never is.
What is your least favorite thing about being a paladin?
Good question.
Good question.
I mean, I love being a paladin, and it's a great time, but there's always a sense of duty and upholding a certain moral code that can sometimes be a little bit of a burden, but for the most part, that's usually aligned with how I'm feeling anyway. But there's always kind of that in the background.
If you could have been born as any other kind of creature, humanoid or beast entirely, what would you have been born as?
Oh, maybe a gack, because then I could just spend all day eating bacon.
What a Tessa answer. I love it.
Tessa, this isn't a question, but you can do that now.
Yeah, but I have to pay for it, and I just spent all my money.
Unless
Fair enough. Fair
your
enough.
paladin oath, you abstain. So Kiki tentatively raises her hand, and she's like, "How many planes have you visited?"
Just one. I'm not quite up to visiting the astral plane. I know some of my family has, since they're pretty close with Allura, but just one plane. Just this one.
Gen looks at you and goes, how are you related to that family? And he doesn't want to blow your cover, but how closely are you related to the prophetess of Doshnaral?
Oh, she's my aunt.
Interesting. Okay, it is Rob's turn. So, Rob, roll me d10.
A D10. It is a 7.
Everyone roll me a d20. The highest has to drink.
The highest has to drink?
Highest has to drink.
The highest has to drink this time.
Ooh.
7 head.
Uh-oh.
Tessa takes it down with 18.
Alright. Got this.
Glug glug.
William. Remember that d10?
D10, you say, sir.
D10.
1 D10 for the gentleman. A 6.
All those who identify as ladies or lady adjacent, take a drink.
Lady adjacent.
Down to
Lady
0.
adjacent.
I like that.
Neva toasts, offers a toast to Kiki and to
Yeah,
Tessa.
Tessa also raises her
Kiki
glass.
does the same.
Kiki, roll me that d10.
No more 6s, please.
A 1.
Everyone drinks one.
Alright.
Hey.
Down to 0.
Mazel.
Also 0.
Okay, back to Gen.
Negative 1.
Gen rolls a 1. Everyone drinks
Oh!
again.
Oh my lord.
It's
Is
party.
anybody free sheets yet?
Well, I'm at -3, so yeah.
Getting into it.
Neva, you were up.
Oh dear.
10.
Never have I ever.
How many fingies go up?
Let's do 3.
3. Does Neva start?
And this
It
is
starts, yep.
and this is in character. You're not trying to get the
No,
players
this is
to
in
talk shit right now. Okay, good note.
We'll do this at the rap party, don't worry.
That's separate. Yeah.
Let's see. Trying to think of something that actually hits other characters and isn't just a thing about Neva that she hasn't done. Never have I ever resided primarily in a city.
Gen goes down 1.
Ooh. Okay, that goes down for me too.
A lot of downs.
Save for Kiki.
Next up
Who
is Tessa.
Never have I ever lived at a college.
Nick sadly puts a finger down.
Next up is
Hey.
Nicholas.
You go off
Make
the
yourself.
down.
Never have I ever still taken a bath.
I have questions, but
In a bathtub.
Definitely
Oh.
taking a bath, dude.
Clarification.
I've washed up
Okay.
in rivers and sun.
Oh, okay.
Next, Roscoe.
Never have I ever. Never have I ever had to. Never have I ever had to lie about what I was doing somewhere.
Gen's out.
You guys all.
What?
He drinks.
I take a shot as well.
Okay. So it is now. That was Neva. Next up is Tessa.
oh, me again. Okay. 2.
2 is for you. Tessa gets to pick who drinks.
What was that?
Tessa gets to pick who takes a drink.
Oh, I get to pick.
Mhm.
Who looks the most sober?
Gen's at a 1, but a positive 1.
I'm gonna put it on Gen because he needs to join this party.
Gen is
That's appropriate. He's the host, gets targeted a little. I dig.
For what it's worth, Roscoe's sitting at a 1 too.
Really?
Fuck you and your con mod.
I know, right?
Yeah, I was about to say, listen.
Next up
Angel can
is-
hold his liquor.
That was Tessa.
If I eat
Nick,
these
your roll.
chicken wings, do I gain any con?
No. We're well past that now.
Oh
No.
Social. Everybody gets one.
No.
no!
All right. Well,
Yeah.
Nick's out, so he suddenly turns. He sits down and like wavers a little bit and turns to throw up, and frantically is like pulling that string off of his wrist and holds it out into a circle and is actively casting prestidigitation while he vomits through a hole.
I would love to see that.
And it's tough because he keeps like missing bits while he like heaves a little bit and like has to like recast the spell before it hits the floor. He's managing. It's obvious that this is a practiced
He's done this before.
technique. Yes.
You gotta name this spell like fucking just like Tensor's floating disc. You need to make this spell, Rob.
It's just prestidigitation but with flavor, but we can absolutely name it.
Ooh, let's not say the word
Nicholas,
flavor.
Nicholas is nauseous something.
You
Nexus.
him a glass of water.
Yep.
I'm gonna sit down. I just sit on the floor.
Roscoe, you're up. Still in the game, baby.
Come on. 6.
Once again, anyone who identifies as a lady.
All right.
It's the sexist.
-4.
Kiki just goes, girl power.
Kiki's turn, speaking of which.
Oh,
Yes!
what?
So, roll the 1.
Oh boy.
All right,
Taking it
Tess
for
is out.
y'all.
So, Tess is a big girl, so she can hold her liquor, but she doesn't want to get to a point where she's not super aware, but she's getting to that point, and she politely bows out and she's like, I know when I've been beaten. You've outdrunk me. Please continue on. And then she just kind of sits back and just eats some of the appetizers.
What, you don't want to end up under the table like literally Nick?
And she kind of looks under the table like, no.
He looks comfy.
It is Roscoe's turn. It's a 1!
Oh, Jesus.
All right.
So
Well,
many ones.
Wait, Gen's
Like,
turn, right?
it was Roscoe's turn.
Sorry, well, yeah, we'll save that for Roscoe then. I mean, no, it is, no, it's Gen's turn, because
He's out.
after Kiki. Gen's
Yeah, but
not
he's out. But he was out.
Gen's
Gen's not out yet.
Gen's not out. He just took another one, because everyone took a
Oh,
social.
I'm obviously drunk.
So that's a social from Gen, so 1 more down.
Finishes her ale. she's only been drinking an ale the entire time, and she only ever intended to drink one ale because she knows what her limits are. She does say, you know, I think I'll pass the remainder of the game off. I'm good with just the one ale. Nick, are you all right under there?
Yes, okay.
Hold on a second. And she kind of goes like, pokes at her vines a little bit, finds ginger root. Gets a little bit of ginger tea going, passes that underneath the table.
I picture her hummingbird. I picture her hummingbird giving
I
him
couldn't
little
hear what you
sips.
said, Rob.
I said, "Oh, you're a saint."
I picture her hummingbirds like giving him little sips of water. Just little droplets. Like, come on.
The bath will be there when you get back, Nick.
Roscoe, you are
Oh my god.
So just for Roscoe's picture, who's still in? Is it me, Gan, and Kiki?
Yeah, you
Kiki's
three.
one. She's one away from being totally blessed.
Excellent. 8.
Pick a date. Any from this point forward, you pick either Gen or Kiki. Whenever you have to drink, they have to drink.
I turn to Kiki and I say in Orin, but also in French. Enchanté, mon ami.
Kiki just turns her head at you slightly.
It is Gen's turn. Gen got questions. So Kiki and Roscoe may ask Gen a question.
Again?
Of Gen, you can ask Gen one question. Kiki and Roscoe, because you were still in the game.
Kiki kind of taps her fingers together as she thinks, and she goes, "What worries you most about asshats?" She knows it's a work question, but she's actually very curious.
How dare you make a tactical choice?
Kiki sticks her tongue out, and Roscoe goes,
So there's one amongst them, Kiki, and he's like really just focused on. He's pretty drunk, so he's really he knows like Roscoe's there. He's really focused on Kiki because there's one amongst them, the Karai boy. He normally leads the pack and keeps them very social, but there's we will have a guest from one of the trade houses in Ventos, a miss from House Lombardo. They are bitter rivals, and I'm very worried about what may break out between the two of them should they come to conflict.
Kiki thinks back to the notes, and she's like, "Half elf, but all asshat?" She asks.
He's like quarter elf and quarter ass hat.
She nods sagely, even though she's very in her cups. That's her question.
Roscoe.
Oh, my question. Gan,
Yes.
you've obviously been around the block. Do you have any regrets?
Damn.
Deep.
Not spending enough time at home.
Oh. It's very touching.
That oddly makes me feel hopeful. So, thank you. Not to, I mean, I'm your employee, not to get too into it, but thank you.
He's just shoved a chicken wing in his mouth.
Yeah, I get that. Careful, the bones break. Don't
Mood,
go.
honestly.
So it is now Roscoe's turn.
Let's pick a card! Pick a card!
Do it, Roscoe. Do it.
4.
Lowest one drinks.
Lowest D20, right?
Lowest D20.
Oh, tied to 14.
No, but it's Gen. Gen got a 13.
Yes!
It is Kiki's turn.
How's Gen looking?
He's at -4.
Oh, no.
Oh!
Excellent.
Kiki rolled a 1. Everybody drink. Kiki's done.
Yen's done. He's at negative. He's at -5.
And Roscoe the winner?
Listen, I'm drunk, but I'm up.
Yeah. I'm still standing.
Yay!
I'm still standing.
So if anybody notices, Kiki starts taking things out of her bag and starts like cobbling stuff together. So,
Kiki.
Yes.
Kiki. No.
Do I have to
boom
make
right
a
now.
sleight of hand? Do I have to make a sleight of hand?
Make a sleight of hand to see what you can cobble together without before they stop you.
Can the yeah?
There's
What
like
do
a
I
I was
salt
about to say.
Let's see. I'm sure it's a 13.
Okay. Kiki actually starts to make one of those little bombs again. And she's fucking
I
with the
think-
powder. And then Roscoe, you're like,
I
no.
think at the. Yeah. Kiki.
She's actually making a traption. It depends on the roll. What happens? Like,
Well, okay. Kiki, what are you trying to make there, amiga?
Gizmo.
Gizmo.
Gizmo that does what?
Don't know. Surprise! Big
Okay.
surprise.
Maybe we
Kiki?
save the surprise gizmos for not in the middle of a bar, Kiki.
Kiki looks to flip.
Kiki,
There's
I
still
also-
a floor to go back to.
Kiki, I had a big question mark about whether or not you were going to steal that paladin's shield back on the road.
Mm-hmm.
You
Too big.
little crazy, Kiki. Too big. Not a moral question. Not a moral question. A physics question. Good.
Everyone, the evening kind of continues as you all are become very happily drunk. And eventually you make your way back to the Von Lincoln estate where Nicholas can enjoy his bath. Roscoe.
I feel like Neva's gonna go full mom mode.
Mhm.
So like she's going to basically turn on the bathwater for Nick and remind him that it's there. She's going to help Kiki finish making that pillow fort.
Aww. Alfred.
Yay.
She wants to make sure that all of you guys are like safely settled, sugar plums nestled all snug in your beds before she goes outside to sleep.
Aww.
I ask Neva, I'm like, do you want me to kind of like knock on the door for Nicholas in like 10 minutes? Like, every
That's
10
probably a good
minutes?
idea.
Okay, I got this.
Please
I have
prop it
cousins.
open. I have drunk cousins.
Yes. I've been to the family parties. I know how this goes.
Mm-hmm.
That's a wise idea, I think.
So
Yeah, I'll keep an eye on him.
Nicholas gets his bath. It's so good, so warm, so clean, so dozer.
Oh my gosh. It's incredible. It's incredible. Tessa, when you knock, Nick will be like, You want the bath?
You want
Like-
this? It's good.
I mean, you're good in there, right? You're not drowning. Obviously, you're not because you're speaking.
Not yet.
No,
Is it time to get out of the bath, Nicholas?
Nope.
Nicholas, how many fingers are you holding up? And are they pruny?
Well, they're in the bath, but yeah, they're pruny.
Okay, time to get out of the bath, buddy.
No.
Don't make me come in there.
Nicholas very reluctantly gets out of the bath and towels up and comes on out.
All right, good. I wouldn't want to have to like wrestle you.
By wrestling, you mean
Wrestling.
pick mage ass up out of the tub.
Yeah, pick me up by the scruff of my neck. Soaking wet, which I am. I still.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and drain that tub.
Oh,
There's
I
this
just
Then my-
imagine the rings.
gross
rings
ring
of
on it,
dirt.
Oh yeah,
I'm not filthy. I've just never had a bathtub before.
yeah.
I'm
You're
not
on
filthy, I just never had a
prestidigitation
bath.
duty tomorrow.
Nicholas gets his bath. Kiki is very comfortable in her pillow fort. Roscoe takes a spot on the couch. Tessa helps to see Nicholas to bed on his side in the recovery position with a glass of water. And finally, with all her...
Aw, add a RA.
Yeah,
All my ducklings are in a row,
Now that
so
the ducklings
Neva's
in a
going to
row.
hard to sleep.
out into the small woods that are kind of on this property. Really just more cluster of trees up into the grand old oak you nestle yourself. just in time to hear the morning birds. And that is where we shall leave this particular session, now that everyone is good and drunk. Thank you all for joining us and hanging out for our various shenanigans, and we will see you next week in Ryam.
Yay!
Thanks.